Honourable Member Rahui Katene.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. I'm really pleased to take this call at this moment following that member's call, because it was very erudite. I have to say it really was. It was great. And to be able to follow her, and she's speaking about the supplementary order paper which was put up by my colleague Te Reo Flavel is very important, because it is so important that we have these issues actually be considered by the Royal Society in the Royal Society of New Zealand Amendment Bill. There is a really big problem with the teaching of history in our New Zealand schools. On the curriculum, we have the fact that the schools are supposed to be teaching New Zealand history, and as part of that New Zealand history, we would expect these schools to be talking about Māori history. And in fact, what we find is that so many schools do not. And we would hope that by having this SOP included in this bill, that the Royal Society of New Zealand will take that and will put pressure on the schools to actually take the teaching of New Zealand history very seriously. I think it is also entirely appropriate to discuss at this time a new development which has occurred in the months between when this bill was last discussed and now, and that is the discussion around cultural competencies. The Minister of Māori Affairs has made mention of Tā Taiako, a school-based cultural competency program which is expected to be formally announced or launched at least this year. The program is a professional development program to help teachers relate to Māori students. And I want to just refer to a release put out by Ngā Kura a Iwi o Aotearoa in the name of its chairman, Pen Bird. In that release, he says, research and experience clearly demonstrates the connection between culturally aware and attuned teachers and Māori learner achievement. The pivotal issue is about the authenticity and relevance of our cultural landscape, which ought to permeate our thinking and practice. We have now been presented with a golden opportunity to make the difference that counts, unquote. Mr Speaker, the Royal Society Bill, and specifically the amendment from my colleague Te Reo Flavel, incorporates the humanities into the objects and functions of the society. In essence, the substance of humanities is also about the expression of cultural competency. The supplementary order paper amends the Royal Society of New Zealand Amendment Bill to include in the definition of humanities Māori studies, te reo, and the recognition, application and advancement of te tiriti o Waitangi. This is a simple but effective strategy to remember that for Māori, this is our natural home. Māori are here forever. This is about marking our cultural landscape. But it's also about adding balance to the bill to identify and distinguish it as homegrown, a truly New Zealand bill. The definition of humanities would include languages, and in particular te reo, history, religion, philosophy, law, classics, linguistics, cultural studies, Māori studies, media studies, art history, film, drama and the studies of te tiriti o Waitangi. A comprehensive, robust and one would think thoroughly practical suggestion, and I hope that all of the House will be able to support this SOP. Mr Speaker, over the last fortnight, the education sector has been responding enthusiastically and responsibly to the proposed new direction of cultural competency. NZEI President Ian Leckie promoted the need for solid resourcing and ongoing professional development. His view was that it's important that any training in te reo and tikanga Māori is backed up by regular opportunities for teachers to enhance their knowledge and skills in the classroom. In this bill, the Royal Society of New Zealand Amendment Bill, we now have explicit proposals which encompass the cultural landscape of Aotearoa through respect and acknowledgement of the significance of the treaty, of Te Reo Māori, of Tangata Whenua. I want to acknowledge the Minister, Mr Chair. Mr.
I
Chair?
call the Honourable Member Rahui Katane.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I just have a very short, to finish off, I need to acknowledge the Minister, Dr Mack, for his willingness to work with Mr Flavel to consider these amendments into this bill, and I welcome the acknowledgement from the Labour Party. I hope that in the spirit of a maturing nationhood, we will endure unanimous and enthusiastic support for the supplementary order paper right across the House. Kia ora.
I call the